Hi everyone, this is Meanie. I'm your storyteller for today. Today we have Little Red Riding Hood. Let's start. Once upon a time there was a kind little girl called Little Red Riding Hood. She always wore a bright red coat with a bright red hood. She said, "I love this so much, I never take it off." She lived with her mother on the edge of some deep, dark woods. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother gave her a pot of vegetable soup. "Take this to your grandmother. She says she's not feeling well. But remember the rules of the woods," her mother added. "I will," promised Little Red Riding Hood and set off. Little Red Riding Hood walked deeper and deeper into the woods. It grew darker and darker. So Little Red Riding Hood didn't see the wolf waiting for her on the path. And the wolf didn't see her either. Little Red Riding Hood stepped on the wolf's tail, then on his paw, and dropped her basket smashed on his head. "Look where you're going," says the wolf humphrily. "But you were on the middle of the path," said Little Red Riding Hood. She had forgotten the rules. Don't talk to wolves. "What have you got in that basket?" asked the wolf hungrily. "Vegetable soup," replied Little Red Riding Hood. "I'm taking it to my grandmother." "Vegetable?" asked the wolf. "How revolting. Wolves only eat juicy red meat. I never touch vegetables," he added. The wolf was about to glow up Little Red Riding Hood, but then he had an idea. "Perhaps I can eat Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother," he thought. He put on his softest voice. "Where does your grandmother live?" he asked. "In the cottage on the other side of the woods," said Little Red Riding Hood. "How perfect," thought the wolf. "Why don't you take her some flour?" he suggested. "What a kind wolf you are," says Little Red Riding Hood. So Little Red Riding Hood left the path to look for flowers, and the wolf raced off to grandmother. He knocked lightly on the door. Tap, tap, tap. "Who's there?" asked the grandmother. "Your granddaughter," Little Red Riding Hood squeaked the wolf. "I've brought you some lovely vegetable soup. Let yourself in," said the grandmother. "I'm too weak to get up." He glided into the room. Then he glowed up Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother. He climbed into the bed to wait for Little Red Riding Hood. Soon he heard a knock at the door. "Let yourself in," called the wolf. "I've brought you some vegetable soup," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Put the basket on the stool and come and sit next to me," the wolf said. Little Red Riding Hood looked at her grandmother and she looked again. "Oh, grandmother, what big ears you have!" "All the better to hear you with," said the wolf. "Oh, grandmother," she said, "what big eyes you have!" "All the better to see you with," said the wolf. Little Red Riding Hood came closer still. "Oh, grandmother," she said, "what big hairy hands you have!" "All the better to hug you with," said the wolf. Now she was standing right next to the bed. "But grandmother," she said, "what big sharp teeth you have!" "All the better to eat you with," snapped the wolf. He jumped out and glowed up Little Red Riding Hood. As the wolf slept, he snored very loudly. He snored so loudly the woodcutter heard him. "I have never heard the old woman snore that loudly," he thought. "I will just make sure she's okay." But the woodcutter couldn't see the grandmother anywhere. Only a very fat wolf. "Oh no," thought the woodcutter. "The wolf has eaten the old woman. Perhaps the old woman is still inside you. I might be able to save her." he picked up some scissors. He snipped the wolf's tummy. Then he saw Bright Red Hood. Little Red Riding Hood's head popped out. "Keep cutting," cried Little Red Riding Hood. "Grandmother's still in there." Snip, snip, faster and faster. The woodcutter kept cutting until Grandmother popped out too. The woodcutter put the stones in the wolf's tummy and then sewed the tummy up. So the wolf never ate another person. As for Little Red Riding Hood, she never ever talked to the wolf again. And that's how the story ends. Hope you enjoyed the story Little Red Riding Hood. Bye!
You're familiar.